College football playoff talk. The Raspy Voice kids are back for the next segment. Man, I did not think Alabama was making it in. Neither did Kirk Herbstreit. He was so surprised he walked off set. Now, a lot of people viewed that as homerism since he played quarterback for the Ohio State University. But all the time he'd been discussing how Alabama was the better team, he just thought they'd put Ohio State in. Well, he was wrong. But was the committee right? What do you think, J.N. Fiend?
Absolutely right. Now, I'm going to be honest. I was a little obnoxious when I heard the results. I was so happy.
Why were you happy?
I was so happy. 1 second. I was so happy. Like, I can't explain. Like, when I saw Alabama come across, I don't know the last time I've been that excited and that happy. And I was pumped because here's the thing. Ohio State, and there are some good fans. We have friends who are good Ohio State fans. But growing up, the majority of them were not. So for me, they always get the benefit of the doubt.
Always.
They always get the benefit of the doubt, and they didn't deserve to be in. That's the bottom line. The truth is, if they deserved to be in, I wouldn't have been so, they don't deserve. If they deserved it, they deserved it. They didn't deserve to be in. That's the bottom line. Ohio State, you didn't deserve to be in. I've seen message boards and people talk about everything and, Alabama biased and this and that. No, take responsibility. You lost by 31 points to Iowa. To Iowa.
In November. In November.
That's the thing.
We're not talking about September with a new offensive coordinator installing a new offense. We're not talking about with a backup quarterback with heavy injuries. In November, with your team intact, you lost by 31 points to a mediocre Iowa team. I don't want to hear it.
I'm not hating on you. We're just being real. Being absolutely real. I heard Joey Galloway talk about, straight the schedule and splitting hairs. No, Joey Galloway, clearly you have another dog in this fight.
Where did Joey Galloway play college football?
Yeah. The Buckeyes. We all know that. Here's the thing, Joey. When you talk about Alabama, I can't defend all of what Alabama did, but what I can tell you is they didn't lose by 31 points.
To anyone.
And here's one thing that nobody says. Nobody brought up the fact that when they beat Florida State was a different team than the rest of the country faced. They beat Florida State full power with their best player, their quarterback. They had hope. They played with passion, and Alabama beat them. Now, their quarterback goes down. Everybody loses heart. And the rest of the schedule didn't have to play that Florida State team. Nobody else had to play that. So I understand the record is a record, but I'm saying by the eyeball test, that win was better than what they're given credit for.
I will say this. I don't know that Alabama deserved to be in. Alabama only plays 8 conference games. One of the teams they played this year was Mercer in November when everybody else is facing a gauntlet. Now, based on talent, based on having the number 1 recruiting class, I believe 7 years in a row or something insane like that, Alabama can't possibly not be one of the 4 best teams. That's my opinion on the subject. However, they sustained so many injuries, and they did not play a tough schedule. So if Alabama had been left out, I would look at Alabama and say, you decided to schedule Mercer in November. No one else did that.
No, but I want to see other teams play a healthy Florida State.
No, but Jeremy, that's one game. Jeremy, that's one game. Who's Alabama's best win?
If Alabama.
Who's Alabama's best win?
When you talk about scheduling Mercer, when Florida State is ranked number 3 and supposed to be everything. Now, granted, you can't help the way the dominoes fall. I'm just saying they didn't play Florida State without. They weren't Texas playing us without Will Grier. They played Florida State with a lot to play for. Florida State team.
They did. At a neutral. They played at a neutral site, which Alabama does not do home and homes. If you notice, Alabama plays their big games early in the season, neutral site. Now, I'm not telling you it's not smart. It's not smart scheduling. I'm not telling you it hasn't worked out for them. I'm just saying, if you're comparing Ohio State and Alabama, both of those teams have major red flags or flaws that in several other seasons, neither one of them would have made the playoffs. And I would have been okay with it.
This is like the Lamar Jackson argument last year. I heard somebody saying, something about Lamar Jackson. He had great numbers, but, his team had a few losses. But the thing is, who else was going to beat him? Alabama. Who else was getting if there was a good team with a solid resume, they'd have beat Ohio.
No, I agree because USC got their brain stomped in by Notre Dame.
USC was even mentioned. First of all, you see where they figured in the BCS, the final thing.
Yeah.
USC was up there just to bring attention and bring eyes. USC wasn't really ever, a real possibility of getting in.
No, I agree, but you look at it and you have 2 conference champs that aren't in. And then it leads people to say, should we expand the playoffs? With most people saying, yes, the playoffs should be expanded. But
it's funny.
But Jim Delaney, the director, I can't remember, the president, whatever you want to call him, of the Big Ten Conference. He doesn't want it expanded, even though his big dog, his prize trophy, Ohio State, got left out on suspect reasoning by a lot of people's estimation. And by the way, I'm saying all this, but I'm playing devil's advocate because I'm looking at all the pieces. I didn't think Ohio State deserved to be in either. There's no way you lose to Iowa by 31 points in November and we put you in give you a chance to win a national championship. I just can't understand that. There's no way.
I also think it's funny, like you look at Kirk Herbstreit and these, other people, was Jesse Palmer on there, and they were like, they were harping on the fact of, it just, it bugs me that this day and age, winning the conference doesn't mean anything. Now, they weren't talking about getting the BCS. They were talking about the appreciation, what they've done. They're like, these X bowl games, they're still going to be great. And that's great. And you're right. Yeah. Were you saying that last? That's my thing. This stuff happens. When TCU and Baylor didn't get in, there was nobody screaming 8 teams, 8 teams. They're screaming 8 teams because one of the blue-collar 5 power schools didn't get in. Ohio State. Now things will be changed. Now.
But that's what I'm saying. Jim Delaney, the head of the Big Ten, does not want things changed, even though his blue blood, his creme de la creme, didn't make it. And he thinks that we should stay the way it is. Journalists want it changed, fans want it changed, but the powers that be are okay with the 4-team playoff.
But how much
you
power,
okay with that?
The question is, how much power does the powers that be have?
They have all the power. They're the ones who decide how this playoff works. Are you kidding?
I mean, is that a way it worked at Tennessee when the fans massed together and decided this is not okay?
Are you really looking at leadership through a Tennessee lens right now? Are you serious right now?
That's a good point. I'm just saying, I feel like if the outcry is strong enough, when the people, like I hear Kirk Herbstreit and people who are on TV cry for, I feel like when the next time they get to vote on how big this college football playoff is, which I'm not sure, I know it's a few years away, I can't see it not expanding to 8.
I'm sorry.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm asking you, are you okay with it?
With the 4?
Yeah.
Look, nothing's ever going to be okay. Nothing's ever going to be good enough.
Unless West Virginia's national champion.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't think no matter what way you change it, there's always going to be people crying and complaining. Honestly, I'm okay with 4.
Me too. That's the thing. For all this complaining, for all this hand wringing, for all of this, outcry about what is fair, who got left out, what criteria is acceptable, I'm okay with 4. This is what makes college football great. Every week there's a debate. You get rankings that are subjective, and everybody gets to cry and complain and plead their case, and that's what makes college football what it is. That's why I love it. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love it. It's one of the things I don't love about the NFL. They come out with power rankings for the NFL.
Stop it with the power rankings.
Who cares about the power rankings?
NBA, NFL, come on now.
Stop it. Who cares? But in college football, it matters. It matters so much because when you rank teams high to start with, it has an impact on how you view them as the season progresses. And it has an impact on how you view the teams they've played as the season progresses. And it's just fun. All of this college football debate is fun. And no, I think the committee got it right because I think Alabama is better than Ohio State. And the reason I think Alabama is better than Ohio State is because they have a better quarterback than Ohio State. J.T. Barrett is terrible. Do not tell me about his 3-time quarterback of the year awards in the Big Ten. The Big Ten is terrible when it comes to quarterback play. When I look at Hornibrook from Wisconsin, was it Danny Cannell or who was it that said Hornibrook would not even be on scholarship in the Big 12?
Yep.
And it's true. He's so bad. J.T. Barrett is bad also. If Haskins was the starting quarterback for Ohio State, I think we'd be having a very different conversation.
No. Talk to any Buckeyes fan, and this is what I say to all Buckeyes fans. I say, what is up with Urban's love? He's too loyal. Why is he so loyal to J.T. Barrett? Haskins is a monster. J.T. Barrett
cannot be accurate when it matters. That's the biggest issue with J.T. Barrett. If you make him throw the ball, he can't be accurate when it matters. He scored only 15 points against Oklahoma defense, which everybody would agree is not a great defense. And he did that in the horseshoe at home.
Yep.
He had a good game against Penn State, which made people forget about who and what he really is. I don't care about the records when you have all the talent that he has around him. I just don't think J.T. Barrett is that good. And that is why I think that Ohio State's not good enough to be in the playoff. I think that's why they got shut out 31-0 last year. I think, so that's why I think the committee got it right, even though you can make the argument as far as resume is concerned that Ohio State had a better resume. They're not a better football team, in my opinion. And according to the committee, they're not a better football team either.
I heard you said, and I agree with you. You said they can make the argument for better resume. Anybody with a 31-point loss to Iowa can't make any argument for better resume.
They had I think they had 3 top 15 wins. Bama only had
lose
1.
To Iowa by 31 points. You cannot argue anything. I don't care. Case closed. Game over. There's no argument to be made.
I'm not saying
don't be mad at anybody.
I agree.
Yourself.
You already know I feel like Alabama's a better team. You already know that I feel the same way as you do about Ohio State.
No, I do. No.
I can respect a person who makes an intelligent argument for Ohio State because I think there is one. I'm not saying I agree with them, but I think it's a reasonable argument to make. That's all I'm saying. But they're not in. I'm glad they're not in. I'm not even going to pretend that I'm not biased or prejudiced. And again, I don't hate Ohio State for any other reason than they're ridiculous fans. Ohio State fans have been voted the worst fans by several different groups. Scott Van Pelt and Ryan Russillo were one of them who've been all over the country. They said Ohio State fans are the worst. My thing with Ohio State fans, having spent so much time with them, is Ohio State fans have an inferiority complex. They think that everybody loves the SEC more than them. They think ESPN hates them. None of those things is true. Everyone loves Ohio State. Even if they don't actually like Ohio State, they want Ohio State to do well because Ohio State is a ratings bonanza, as Kirk Herbstreit said. Everybody will watch Ohio State if they're on. Either you love them or you hate them, but everybody will watch. Everybody will see them go in droves to any bowl game they go to. No one treats you as less. You're a blue blood. You're a king of college football, and everyone knows it. So You can't claim inferiority. But then they don't leave it at that. Because it's one thing to have a chip on your shoulder and be inferior or feel inferior. It's another thing to feel inferior, but at the same time have a superiority complex. That is, they look down and
keep getting the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
This is the first time I went against you. The other two, you got the benefit of the doubt. Here, look, there's 5. Like I say this over and over. There's 5 big boys. There's 5 teams in the country that they care about more than any other teams. It's Ohio State. It's Alabama, Notre Dame, USC, and Texas. If Ohio State was paired up against anybody else other than Alabama, they'd have got in. That like they were against TCU and Baylor.
Yep, exactly.
You were unfortunate to be matched up against another big time school. I mean, not just big time school, but one of the other power
a king of college football.
King of college football.
But my thing is, Ohio State fans also have a superiority complex. They look down their nose at everyone else. They look down their nose at other conferences. They have this thing that they do when they aren't. If they're not better than you at football, they focus on academics. Like anyone cares about academics. We're talking about sports. This is not Quiz Bowl. This is not honor society. We're talking about football. Why are you bringing your academics into it? Now, they're not as bad as Michigan fans. Michigan fans are the worst when it comes to that, which is why I hate them more. But that's why I get frustrated with Buckeye fans. Now, I will say some of my best friends are Buckeye fans.
They are.
But they really are. They're good fans, too.
And I feel bad for the homeboy Zane, who takes it a little personal when we talk about the Buckeyes.
He takes it real personal.
Zane, you know we love you. Zane,
Pirate Octopus on Twitter, get at him.
You know we love you. You know why it is the way it is.
But there are other people that we love, and I genuinely love, and they're good, educated, reasonable Buckeye fans. They're just outnumbered. And to be fair, most fan bases are that way. As you always say, Jeremy, fan is short for fanatic. It's just different when you have the stage and the platform that Ohio State has, when you've had the success that they have, and you want to cry poor when things don't go your way. That's where I am with all of this Buckeye stuff. And that's why I also was ecstatic when they were left out, because I didn't think it was possible. 2 out of the 3 times now they've gotten the benefit, or they were 2 for 2 as far as getting the benefit of the doubt in the playoff. This is the first time they didn't get it, and I couldn't believe it. Just like Kirk Herbstreit. Couldn't believe it. But this college football playoff thing, man, I think we're going to have some great games. I'm very excited to see if anybody can slow Oklahoma down, because I don't think they can. I think Baker is that good no matter how much of a jerk he is. He is unstoppable on the playing field. I just am not sure Oklahoma can slow anyone down. Clemson is loaded for bear. That defensive line is sick. Kelly Bryant is – what'd you say?
But let's focus in on the Oklahoma-Georgia game. Who you got, Oklahoma-Georgia?
I'm taking Oklahoma.
I'm taking Georgia, and this is the reason why. I feel like Georgia has tremendous speed, something Oklahoma hasn't seen, I think, before. But I also feel like
you think they have more speed than Ohio State defensively?
I don't know. I was watching against Auburn, and I know Auburn's team's not, but Georgia's fast. They're really fast. I feel like giving Oklahoma that month to prepare for them. I honestly feel like Georgia may jump out. Oklahoma comes back but Georgia wins, holding the ball and running. I say it's like a 34-31 Georgia game.
Okay, Clemson and Alabama, round 3.
Whew. If I'm being real, I think Alabama's going to come out inspired. I think they're going to play really hard. I don't want to agree with everybody else. And I'm gonna be honest, I want Uncle Nick to win. I say Clemson wins. Same type of thing, 34-31. Nah, that's too high. 31-24. 31-24 Clemson.
A lot of people are looking at Bama for what they've been the last few weeks. Bama's been very injured. And like King Saban said, most of those players will be back for this game. And with all those players back, I think that Alabama is the best team in the country when they're fully healthy. And they will be close to complete health. And I think Jalen Hurts, who almost won the game with a miracle run at the end of the game last season in the national championship, I think he will be inspired. I'm going to take the Crimson Tide. I at first was leaning Clemson with Kelly Bryant and that defensive line, but I'm going Bama this time. And it'll be Bama and Oklahoma in the national title game. Who you got?
The winner.
You got Georgia. So you got Georgia and Clemson in the national title. Who do you have?
But either way, the winner, Clemson and Alabama are playing for the national championship.
You think so?
Alabama and Clemson are playing for the national championship.
I think Oklahoma's going to win the national championship. I think they're that good.
I don't know. See, I almost said I hope for the Big 12. I can't stand Baker Mayfield.
I hate him.
But for the Big 12, maybe. But then again, I kind of wanted Bama. I'm all over the board. All I can say is I just rejoice in the fact that I don't have to have anxiety about Ohio State being in there.
I'm just telling you, I honestly don't have the emotion I typically have rooting for a Big 12 team like I normally would for conference pride. I'm clean slate on this because I hate Baker Mayfield, but I want the Big 12 to be successful, so that cancels each other out. I just think Oklahoma's the best team. I think Lincoln Riley is that good at play calling, and I don't think the other teams can keep up. I think Oklahoma wins the national championship.
Brandon, I hear what you're saying, and by the way, I take that back. I don't want Oklahoma to win it. But here's the thing: they have no defense. So what Alabama's going to do, they're going to soak, whether it's Alabama or Clemson, they're going to soak up that clock. They're going to score at will. And I feel like Georgia, Clemson, and Alabama have enough defense to slow Oklahoma down. And I don't think Oklahoma has enough defense to slow them down. Oklahoma won't get through. I don't think so. If they do, I don't mind. I'm just saying I think it's too much lack of defense there going on in Boomer Sooner to get it done.
Do you know who the favorite is in Vegas?
Clemson?
Bama, 2-1.
Roll Tide.
Roll
is
Tide.
What they say down in Alabama.
We'll see what it is. But that's a Raspy Voice Kids take. Once again, I'm Brandon Phoenix, aka I Also Hate Pitt.
JM Fiend, Jeremy.
And don't forget, we also hate Pitt. Oh wait, we didn't talk about Pitt's playoff game. Who do they play?
Is there NIT for college football?
Yeah, that's right. Stay home, Panthers. Holla at us.